Hi, this is Matt. Today we're going to go over an overview of the Excel-based API. You can go download your own Excel sheet at api@orats.com, downloads for Excel, and then send us an email to request your own login, which you will copy into the Settings tab of the sheet. The sheet has the following 12 tabs. Scanner, where you could scan and backtest option strategies, backtest stats that will show you the statistics in a graph, an implementer where you can look at pre-canned strategies, core data where you'll see symbol level option information. The money file has expiration level volatilities by buckets of deltas. The strikes is the option level market data and implied volatility tab. Earnings gives you earnings dates, and that requires a premium subscription. And dividends sends you the dividends information, and that requires a premium subscription as well. The stock data tab has historical symbol information. The value vol is something we designed to show implied volatility valuations. And the earnings in general gives you a explanation of the core data. And as we discussed, the settings tab is where you put your ID and key that we send you. So let's start with the scanner. We'll go through these quickly, and in subsequent videos we'll get into more detail. But the scanner, you set up a strategy and a stock list. You press the scan button and you could get current and delayed data. The backtest button is where you could see historical results, and then look at the backtest stats tab to see the statistics, see a graph of what would happen to $1,000 of an initial investment, view some monthly returns and yearly information, and you could change the drop downs if desired. So let's go into a sheet and do this. So when you pull up the sheet in the scanner tab, you'll see the first thing is to select a strategy. We could choose any strategy here. We'll do a short call. This backtested strategy is from a different tab, so we'll ignore that for now. And we'll set up a sell call backtest by stating that we're going to sell. The ratio is 1. If it were a butterfly, for example, it would be 1 to 1. That's what ratio means, call. And trade percentages, the mid-market, and days to expiration. So you would set up a scan, type in a stock list. We'll go Apple. Can't remember the Apple. And the strikes that meet the criteria come through. And then if we're happy with that scan, we could actually go and backtest that scan. We'll choose how many months. Let's do 36 months and number of results. Again, we could talk about these in a subsequent video. But when you press backtest, you see how quickly the results come in for this Apple sell call strategy, and automatically goes to the backtest stats page and shows you what the equity line would have been and beeps for you. So that's very handy way to look at a strategy that you might be thinking about. Our implementer tab, you could view thousands of pre-run backtests and see how they performed in either years or quarters, and see the details just like the graph that we've just seen, and scan for current options and backtest. So again, let's go see that in action. Let's go to the short call buy right. That's what we just saw. We could generate a report, and we'll see all the pre-canned strategies. In other videos, we'll describe what all these mean. You could change from option to hedged, regenerate the report, show the details, shows the graph, and shows the return and the Sharpe ratio. We're over here to the left, so we'll scroll back. Again, you could scan and it sends you to the, you have to choose a strategy and scan, and it'll send you to the scanner. And then now this backtested strategy is more meaningful. It populated all of the parameters for that particular strategy and then showed you the current Apple options meeting these parameters. So the next tab is the core data, where you see symbol level information. There's a drop down to see general information, earnings information, and volatility information. You could do it on all stocks in the United States optionable universe, which is about 4,200 as we speak. And you could also use the Excel filter to filter down these results. So let's go over to core data. I have a small list right now. I could go all and see the whole list, but that takes a little bit of time. So you could look at general information, asset type, and volatility information, earnings-based information, again on these three stocks, or volatility information, implied volatility interpolated at the 30, 60, and 90 day, for example. So let's jump over to the money file. The money file is expiration level information, and you could see implied or forecast volatility information by delta buckets. So basically what that means is that we'll see for Apple all of the expirations and then where the volatility is at each delta bucket. So I'm scrolling over and seeing from 100 delta down to 0 delta. Here's the 50 delta, or the at the money, and here's kind of the at the money volatilities for Apple right now. As far as the strikes go, you could see which strikes are covered by Apple and the expiration. So we'll scroll down, and here's the expiration on the 31st, and here are the strikes and the call volume, put volume, call bid ask, and some other information over here, such as delta, gamma, and theta. The earnings, this is that premium subscription where you could see the next date, the last date, the time of day confirmed, and when it was updated. And same for dividends. See the upcoming dividends, X date, dividend amount, dividend frequency. Just quickly, we'll check that out. So here are the next earnings coming up for, or that actually just occurred on the 24th. And here was the last earnings for XRX. 9 means in the morning, 2:35 or 23:59 means after the close, and whether it was confirmed or not. Dividends, the expiration or the X date and the dividend amount are shown for each ticker. And again, you just click on the button and go get this information. So the stock data, you could see historical information on price, quarterly returns, tested option environment strategies is something that we use to change back tests in order to see how they performed in different volatility and price levels. Stock information and volatility information. So in the stock data, you can, again, it has a drop down. You could go see any one of these quarterly returns for Apple. You could see when Apple stock was up or down and what happened to the volatility in the same quarter. Daily price information historically going back. You see how quick that is. The value vol is a way to assess the implied volatility, whether it might be over or undervalued given historical relationships. There's a lot of information here that we're not going to go through today, but just suffice to say, you could look and see where the volatility table, where it might be over or undervalued based on historical and implied volatility. It feeds off of information from the earnings in general tab here, where you could see definitions for all of the definitions for all of the core data. For example, we'll just look at one quickly. General. Let's look at, for Apple, we'll look at call volume. So it's 105,000 today. Let's go look at the actual core data, try to corroborate that. We'll just look at Apple, and we'll get the general core, and we'll come in and we'll see that 105,815 and call volume match the detail back here. And then again, we define all these in this particular tab. So that and just the settings tab where we talked about putting in your app ID. The program won't run unless you have both of those. I've blocked out this one. Whoops, I showed it to you real quick. So you can then input your own app keys there and run the program. So I hope you enjoy this ORATS API sheet. If you need any questions answered, please go to contact me at orats.com with questions, and we'll get back to you. Thanks.